Hey there, Ridgely Goldsborough here with Jay Bennett, the Blue Collar Networker in stunningly beautiful Southern California. And yet, we're going to talk today about not the beautiful times, but the hard times. What do we do? What does someone do when they hit a wall, when they feel like they're not going anywhere? Maybe they even think, I don't know if this is for me anymore. What happens? What's the way out of that?
Well, definitely, you're going to have good times and bad times, Ridgely. It's gonna go both ways. And when it's good and it's easy. It just kind of takes off. But what happens when you hit the wall? What happens when everything you do doesn't seem to work? And the only thing that I can really say about that is you've got to keep doing the basics. You've got to keep doing the fundamentals, and you've got to fight through it. You've got to just know there is light at the end of the tunnel. You just got to take that next step. So for me, I go back to the basics, to the fundamentals, and I keep doing that over and over and over, expecting a breakthrough.
Well, what do you tell yourself? I mean, that sounds great.
Yeah.
But I'll use myself as an example. I've been doing the fundamentals. I've been trying hard. I know in my brain, okay, just one more phone call. You never know what's the breakthrough. But I just get beaten down. But what do you do to pump yourself up to do the fundamentals? How do you get the energy back?
Well, one thing that I do that, if I'm having a rough day, I really do go to podcast or go to YouTube and listen to some of the greats like Jim Rohn, and I get a refresher. All of us need that. And I'll take 20, 30 minutes and just feed my brain some really good stuff. And it'll start to make that shift, because you don't want to be stuck in a negative place or in a place where you're just moaning and groaning. You've got to get out of that. So listening to positive messages, Jim Rohn, Brian Tracy, Tony Robbins, any of those is a great thing. So that's how I kind of get myself out of that,
And when you're okay, so you managed to get yourself to where your mind is right again, so to speak. And yet that telephone still in that moment sort of seems like it weighs about 100 pounds.
Yeah.
What do you do to make that first call,
Okay,
knowing that you got to make it?
Well, I got to share a story, because this is real life. And, when I first got launched in the company that I'm in now, it was like a rocket ship. But if you remember 2008, 7, 8, 9, the recession hit. If you remember, the building industry fell apart, and a lot of people were affected all over the country. But we really took hits here in Southern California. And, that occurred, and so things were getting soft that way. And there were some people that attacked my organization for another company. So I was getting hit by the recession and having an attack by another network marketing company going after my downline. And so there was like water in the ship. There was a big hole, a gaping hole in the hull of my ship. And I was walking down my little path here near our house and saying, honey, we got a hole in our ship and the water's rushing in. What do we do? Because it was going down, down, down. And she said, honey, you just got to go back to the basics. You got to go back to the basics, use the products, talk to people, and share the product, and just get back to fundamentals. But what happened was, she was right. And I had to hear it from her, but I said, just get back to work. Just get back to recruiting. Get back to talking to people. And the first thing, it was amazing, but it was magical. When I made that commitment to kind of do a reset and start again, kind of like from scratch, I put my list together. I started making the phone calls. Someone that I talked to in the past, when I talked to him this time, he was ready. And just so I finish the story, he got to an event, was absolutely blown away, got involved in the company. So he signed up somebody in Georgia, and from Georgia they signed up somebody in Sydney, Australia, and that became the largest organization in the entire company in Australia. Was through my organization, because I was willing to call this guy when I didn't feel good, when the water was rushing into my ship, and it absolutely changed the course of my business.
So you mean it wasn't because you got lucky?
Well, I kind of got lucky. It was because I kept going.
Right. I
got lucky.
In other words, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity.
Yeah.
And you just were working hard, doing it. Now, for the people that are watching this right now, how important is it to anchor down this message that Jay Bennett, the blue collar networker for a reason, is telling us? You always need to go back to basics. It's always about sharing the products, taking the products, and talking to people. There's nothing else to this other than different gradations and variations of it.
That's right. That's right. It's just getting back to fundamentals, getting back to basics, having a daily method of operation. You've got to be consistent in the good times and the bad times. I just listened to a quote here recently, and I played 10 years of football, and Vince Lombardi, of course, was a big time coach, and his statement was, "Winners never quit, and quitters never win." I mean, think about how simple that is. Winners never quit. So if you want to be a winner, you just never quit. And so for me, that was keep doing the basics. Keep taking that next step. Just never quit.
So what I heard so far is, A, it's going to happen to everybody. Yes?
Yes. Yes.
That was an emphatic yes.
Yes.
Like you meant it, like you felt it or something. Like,
yeah. Yeah. We all get hammered. It's how we handle it.
Then B, when you get into that space where that desire is kind of not there for you, find some nutrition for your mind somewhere. Go listen to a podcast, an audio file, read the book of your mentor in personal development, whoever that may be, and get some food back to your brain.
Absolutely. And if I could make a recommendation, I mean, I just go to YouTube and I go to Jim Rohn, and I mean, I think he really is one of the best speakers. Ridgely and I both know him personally. I think he's one of the best speakers. He's now passed on, but you can get him live on YouTube, and you have him in live events, you have him in recorded events, and absolutely, I think one of the best wordsmith for personal development and especially network marketing is Jim Rohn, and it's just amazing how it helps you make a shift.
You know what? I think we're gonna shoot a video on great authors and what they meant to each of us.
Yeah.
And then let's go to number 3. And number 3, perhaps, in essence, what it's all about is go back to the fundamentals and just focus on the fundamentals. No matter what, focus on those fundamentals of taking the products yourself, talking to people, and sharing the products with others.
Yes.
And then, so tell us a little bit, just a little bit to kind of wrap this up. What happens when you break through? What does that feel like? When you've been smacked, you went back to basics, you took care of your mind, you hit it again, and somebody shows up. What's that feel like?
You know, right off the bat, when you started sharing that, Ridgely, I thought of ABC Sports, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. Remember that?
Yeah.
The thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. And I want to say that in the network marketing business model, we experience that. And I want you to know that a lot of people in life don't ever experience that. They never get the thrill of victory because they're not willing to go through the agony of defeat. You have to have both. So if you're going to embrace this entrepreneurial network marketing business, you're going to have to experience the agony of defeat many times so that you can also experience the thrill of victory. They go together.
That's right. And I think that for all of us watching, let's just remind ourselves it's absolutely worth it to go through that to experience the thrill of victory. Jay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ridgely.